Ladies and gentlemen, it is a sad day for Ronaldo fans. Messi does it again at the age of 39. This guy, this little freak, this 5'7" Argentinian just cemented himself as the greatest of all time. We didn't watch Pele, we didn't watch Maradona, but since we started watching the beautiful game of football, Messi has been the greatest, and there is no debate about it. Ronaldo tried to push him. They went head to head for a decade, but then at 39, what Messi is still doing, his third World Cup finals. He might win it, he might not win it, but to go to 3 World Cup finals, only a few players have managed it. The likes of Cafu. Mbappe tried to do it, although he still have 2 World Cups to go. But for Messi to do it, lose one, which was against Germany in 2014, and then win one in 2022, and then in 2026. That is historical. That is a story that only one player can write at the age of 39. Lionel fucking Messi. Argentina 2, England 1. The first half of the game was really a terrible watch. It reminded me of the days when we used to play what we call Muchendi. We bet our friends, then we play against them with money on top. The winner takes all. That was what I thought I was watching in a World Cup semi-final. It was just challenges upon challenges, hard tackles. The game was not boring, but it wasn't a game befitting a semi-final. It was like amateurs. There was no 2 to 3 passes being stringed together. There were no tactical geniuses, technicality in the game. It was just who is going to provide the hardest foul on the opponent. The referee was trying as much as possible to make the game flow. The referee wasn't whistling and giving foul for any challenge. He made the game flow a bit, but it got to a point that he needed to give out a yellow card. If he hadn't given a yellow card, the game would have gotten out of hand. He gave the first yellow card to Anderson, which wasn't a yellow card. He just wanted to caution the players and like, slow down. The first 45 minutes of the game was nothing to write home about. It wasn't a semi-final game of the World Cup. It was so abysmal because it was just tackles, challenges, hard tackles, players going on the floor and all that. Nothing to write home about the beautiful game. For the first 30 minutes, there was no shots on target. And none of the keepers were worked. Like I said, the game was just in the midfield with hard tackles. Second half, Lisandro Martinez got a yellow card. Romero got a yellow card. Then you could see the referee now had control of the game because after ditching out the yellow cards, the players now settled and they started to play football. It started to look like a semi-final. The game flowed much better. It was still a midfield battle. It was still an energetic game, but it flowed much better till the 60s. Lisandro Martinez tried to clear it with a scissor kick, but then his clearance fell to an English player who then passed it to Rogers, who was playing right wing. On a more serious note, most of the times left-footed players play right wing, and England has always been playing Madueke because he's the fitter player while Saka was injured. So they start with Madueke and then bring in Saka in the second half. And sometimes they start with Saka and then bring in Madueke because Saka is not fully fit. What they did was that instead of Madueke, they started with Rogers playing the right wing, and that is not his favorite position. His favorite position is the position Jude Bellingham has been playing, which is the number 10, the central attacking midfield position. After Lisandro Martinez overhead clearance that fell to an English player. The ball then was passed to Rogers. Rogers put in a beautiful cross, and Aaron Gordon blinded Molina and had a very good tap-in into the goalpost. Once they led by a goal to nil, just as England, we know, they started to sit back. 2020 repeating itself again against Italy. In the Euro final, when they were leading by a goal to nil, they retreated. Italian team was not as good, but then when you retreat and then you allow the opposition to play the ball, they are going to create chances. And that is what England did against Argentina. After they scoring the first goal, they retreated, which made Argentina to have the ball. When Argentina has the ball, they have players that can hurt you, and they have the greatest of all that can hurt anyone, even on half of his day. That is Lionel Messi, 39-year-old. They were putting in crosses and creating chances. Their first major chance came to Julian Alvarez, but that was before the goal. After the goal, the chances were piling up. They were putting crosses together and getting free headers. Pickford made a very good save from McAllister, a low down save. McAllister had another header, hit the post. You could see, once England retreated, you could see the goals were going to come from Argentina because England had nothing to offer going forward. And what did Tuchel did? He saw the pressure, and instead of him to relieve the pressure, he brought in more defenders. He brought in the Dambens of the world. Rich James got injured, so he had to be taken off, and Konsa was brought in, took off Anthony Gordon, and then brought in Nico Riley, who we know is a midfielder by trade, but he was brought into this World Cup as a left back because that is what he has been playing in Man City. He brought in the 6 foot, whether 3 or 4 Dambem in order to stop Argentina's cross. However, the cross kept going in. Argentina strikers and midfielders were having fun. During the game, Enzo Fernandez has been threatening with his long range. And instead of the English players, after the second long range, stop this guy from shooting, they decided to still sit back and allow him all the chance and all the opportunity to shoot. He shot a ball with a brilliant save from Pickford, and they had a corner. They took the corner shot, gave the ball back to Messi, and Messi passed it to Enzo Fernandez. The English players were close to their goalkeeper, and none of them was closing Enzo Fernandez. He had all the time to pick his spot and to shoot. The only player that was trying to close him down was Jude Bellingham, but it was so late. Once he rifled the ball in, it was goal. It was a brilliant goal. 1-1, England could not attack. Why? Because they have about 6 defenders in. And when you have 6 defenders in, how do you attack? We start with strikers. If you are not good enough, you become a midfielder. If you are not good enough, then you go to a defender. Defenders are not really good with the ball. In today's modern game, defenders have started to be good with the ball because they are made to play from the back. But back in the day, they were not good with the ball. Once you have 6 defenders, you don't look like scoring a goal. So at 1-1, it was still Argentina that looks likely to score the winning goal. And prior to the winning goal, they created chances. McAllister shot hit the post. But he hit the post twice. Unlucky day for McAllister, but then Messi was alert to the ball, which just Spence cleared. He just went past just Spence and Nico O'Reilly and then crossed the ball. The 6 foot Dambem and whatever defenders he brought in couldn't stop Lautaro Martinez from heading the ball into an empty net because there was nothing Pickford could do. It was just a very good cross from the greatest of all time on the plate for Lautaro Martinez. That is how England went home. That is how Argentina won the game by 2-1. After the second goal, there was nothing England could do because they had defenders. There was no way they could attack. They used the same formation against Mexico and Norway, but then it didn't work against Argentina. Everybody will blame Tuchel, and rightly so. But then before he made the changes, the English players already sat back. Argentina was putting in the cross. So Tuchel was like, why not, if that is what the players want to, why not bring in more defenders so they defend the lead? And that was the biggest mistake. He should have brought in an attacker that could counter-attack. However, they had nothing going forward. Argentina, straight to the finals, they are going to face Spain. Barcelona fans are happy. They are calling it a win-win situation because if Spain wins, Lamine Yamal is closer to the Ballon d'Or. If Argentina win, Messi, already cemented as the greatest of all time, now puts a very big chasm between him and Ronaldo. And then wins the player of the tournament, which he has already won. There is no debate about it. He is going to win the player of the tournament. England never gets off the line. Anytime they get close, they are dragged back. Anytime they meet a decent team, they falter again in the 2026 World Cup semifinals. Argentina, Spain, that is going to be a cracker, but Spain, with their technicality, will beat Argentina, honestly. But to end it all, Messi is the greatest of all time. There is no debate about it. Based on what we have watched in our generation, we've never seen any player like Lionel Messi. He could win a second World Cup in 3 World Cup finals. Until then, it's Bulldozer TV. And cheers.